Hey there, this is the second part of my Unity shader tutorial series, and here we're going to make the shader a little bit more complete. It will look exactly the same after this part than it does right now, but we will implement some shader features that we will need later on in the tutorial series. So let's get started. Right at the beginning I set up my project, so I have a new folder with all the same stuff we had in the last tutorial, but just renamed. So you don't have to do this, you can just work with the stuff we did in the last video. So I also renamed it right here. So what we're adding first is, right now the vertex shader accepts a struct of the type appdatabase, which we take from the Unity CG include file. We will replace that with our own, and the new struct, I'll just call it vertex data, but we can just rename it later if we want to. So let's make the struct, call it vertex data, and in here we have to define what we actually want from the struct. So we want a float 4 for the position, and we have to tell it, hey, this is a position, please write the position in here, and we can do this with the hint position. In the last episode we read from vertex input the vertex variable. Right now we don't have to read the vertex variable, we have to read the position variable, because that's the name we gave it in line 11. So next we will also add the input argument for our fragment shader, because last time we said we don't care about anything coming in, we just want to make it red, but later on we want to pass arguments into the fragment shader, where we tell it where it is, what the texture coordinates are, or maybe what the vertex colors are. So to do that, we can just tell it the vertex to fragment we set up here is our input argument, and we can just call it fragment input. So, and the rest is handled by Unity, so it sees, hey, it wants the vertex to fragment, so I'll give it to the method. So the next thing we want to do is that down here, this variable is hard-coded, and it's a little bit ugly. We won't be going over how to make it so we can edit it in the editor, but we'll put it somewhere else in the code so we can change it once and then maybe use it at different points. For that we want to define the variable, of course of the type fixed4, and call it color, and put the color value we want in here. And then here we'll just return the color. When we go back into Unity, there's an error though. Unexpected broken struct, because I forgot a semicolon. Structs are always ended with a semicolon. So, and now we have a black cube even though we told it it's red. That's because when we say this color has this value, then by default the program expects us to write colors in there from C#. But because we're not doing that, it just has a default value which is black, 0, 0, 0, 0. To fix that, we can make it static, which marks the color as automatically instanced by the shader, and we can also write the value in here, and we will have our red back. That being done, the last thing we want to do is add tags. The tags are in the subshader, not in the pass, and they're just defined in tags. The first thing we'll do is define the render type, which is a hint for Unity and tells Unity how we want to render the thing. Because we can't look through it, we'll just tell it the render type is opaque, and we can also define the queue, which means when the object is rendered. And because it's normal geometry, it isn't see-through, it isn't transparent, we'll just put it in a geometry queue. So, when we go back now, it's still the same thing, but we can later add more information into the structs, and we can give information to the fragment shader. Also, this queue I just mentioned is here in the render queue. From shader means just take whatever the shader defines in the tags, but you can also define it in a material. So geometry is the 2000. Later, when we have transparent stuff, that's in the 3000 region. So, one further thing I want to do now is change the names, because when you read up on shaders on the internet, they will probably not have those names I used for now, but will have shorter variable names. So the vertex data is usually named app data. The vertex to fragment struct is usually called v2f for vertex to fragment. And let's just copy that down there and there. The fragment input is usually called just I, just as here the app data is also just called v for vertex. The output of the vertex shader is usually called O. This is V now. Also the position up here is usually called vertex, like we had it in the last episode. So, also the way I wrote color down here with the underscore in front of it is also the usual way how the Unity shaders are written. So when you look into tutorials, it's probably written like that. And yeah, this is pretty much the normal unlit shader with a few other things, but they will come in the next few episodes. Thank you for watching.